Yahoo Sports. I'm Vincent Goodwill here with three-time NBA champion, soon to be Hall of Famer Dwyane Wade, now co-owner of the Utah Jazz. Dwyane's got some great stuff going on with Budweiser and NFTs that he's going to tell you about. Dwyane, thanks for joining us. It's been a long time since I've seen you, but I'm very curious. You're in Miami right now. You were recently seen at a Heat playoff game against the Philadelphia 76ers. How connected do you still feel to that franchise and those players, even though your ownership stake is somewhere else?
Yeah, well, first of all, man, it's good to hear your voice and speak to you again. I think the one thing is I have a tattoo, and my tattoo says unique. I'm in a unique position, and I've always looked at myself as a unique person. And so this situation, I think, is it's a little different than we've seen, being kind of still a part of the face of one organization and then being in ownership with another organization. But for me, I understand that it is a separation, it is a difference. And so, yesterday I got an opportunity to sit and be a fan and be able to watch Bam and Jimmy and Vic, my little brothers. I got a chance to see all of them wearing the same jersey that I wore. And go out there and play together and do some amazing things. So just a great day to be a fan. My wife and I was on a nice date after the Met Gala. We decided to stop in on the team and just get that energy. So I know how to separate it, and the Utah Jazz is a part of my business. It's a part of something that I'm expanding into, something that I'm learning even more. And so you just got to know how to separate it.
I mean, when you talk about separating, Dwyane, when I think of the Miami Heat, in this franchise history, I think of Pat Riley, and then I think of you. You were drafted there. Yeah. You had other stuff. You had a stop in Chicago. You had a stop in Cleveland, but you were Mr. 305. You had a rap verse in a Rick Ross song. You know what I mean? There's no further place from Miami in mind's eye than Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that separation, what culturally, what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's no further place than, signing with, Li Ning 10 years ago and going to China. And just, I've always, like I said, I've always tried to put myself in unique positions to do it the way that I personally see fit and not how it's scripted for me to go. Michael Jordan is known for who again? The Chicago Bulls, right? He's an owner in, Charlotte, so I understand business and I understand that, relationships. And so, my relationship with the Miami Heat continues to further and continues to get stronger and better. And I think the one thing everyone sees is that I'm just a different type of player that's coming through. I don't follow suit of just everyone that's come before me. And I don't want everyone to follow suit of what I'm doing. We all have our own way, and whatever works for you, if it's something that is successful for you or something you're happy with, the people who love you should support it and love it for you. And so that's what I found in Miami last night. I just found a lot of love and a lot of support, and it was good to get it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. A week ago, you were in Salt Lake City for Game 6 of the playoff series with Dallas, and obviously ended in a disappointing fashion for you guys. You came from organizations where there was a lot of culture, there was a lot of, I won't say order, but you know what I mean, Dwyane, there was a lot of synergy between the front office and the players and everything else. When you look to Utah and you look to Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, a lot of people have made the comparison that Donovan Mitchell is similar to a young Dwyane Wade, and it hasn't manifested itself in terms of playoff success. What type of conversations do you have with him, not just about maybe his relationship with Rudy or whatever, but just about growing with a franchise and maybe sticking with something even when it doesn't look so good?
That's not my conversations with Donovan. Just because I'm on the owner side doesn't mean I'm going to give you always owner speak. I'm a realist, and I understand. This is my little brother. This is a guy who's blazing the same trail as I blaze, as in a standpoint of of building himself to become a name. Donovan Mitchell wasn't one of the names we all thought we would hear, and so I know we all are in this world we're in this world to compare. Like, everything has to be a comparison. And, I know Donovan and I have similar, styles of play, similar body type, similar journey. And so that's why we compared in that way. And so we connected from that. And from that, I've always been a big brother. And so my biggest thing for Donovan is how he's growing as a leader, how he's adding to his game year after year, and as much information as he wants from me. My job inside of ownership is I don't have the hard job. I'm not the GM. I'm not the president. I don't have the hard job. My job is to come in and bring my basketball experience, to this ownership group and to the players when I can. And so that's what I do for Donovan. I bring my basketball experience to him as someone who's went through the same journey.
Well, the funny thing is the new executive vice president, I believe, is Danny Ainge. You and his Boston Celtics got into some fierce playoff battles, numerous playoff battles. Do you guys ever talk about how crazy that was? Like, there was a real rivalry for a number of years, with real old-fashioned hatred between the Celtics and the Heat.
Yeah, we talk about it. Like, we're basketball nerds, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about it. And Danny is, someone who I didn't have the opportunity to get to know as a player. And, the funny thing is, and like Spo said it last night, he said, it's weird seeing Dwyane sit next to Danny, courtside. And it will forever be weird for Spo to see me in anything but Miami Heat, everything, right? But here's the thing, as a player, I never got a chance to know Danny. Danny's beef was with, Pat, or Danny's beef was with the, scouts. It wasn't with me as a player. Like, right. Yeah, you hate every or dislike every player that comes in and is good, that can beat your team. But Danny and I has gotten a chance to golf it out, get on a golf course, get a chance to hang around each other, have some conversations. And we both realized that we're both basketball nerds. And so we love talking about the game, and we both realists about the game. And so actually he's one of my favorite people now to talk to about basketball, that I can call up and just talk some basketball nerd stuff with, man. So it's just me, building relationships on my own and not building them through a hand-me-down. Right. Getting to know people on my own.
Now, Dwyane, you've always been a dude that marched to the beat of your own drum. Like, when you came to Chicago and everybody was up in arms about why would Dwyane Wade leave Chicago, why would he leave Miami and everything else, you were like, no, this is the best move for me, my family, and my career at this point. And you were always pretty, secure with that decision. So it's not surprising for me to see you, hanging with Danny Ainge in that way, just because you've always been different. But even the transition that these playoffs, it's a lot of young stars. It feels like the league's in a period of transition. LeBron isn't in the playoffs. He had a great year, but not in the playoffs. Kevin Durant's not in the playoffs. You still got the old heads like Chris Paul, your good friend, still putting up huge numbers for the Phoenix Suns. But what is it like to see the Jason Tatums and the Ja Morants and the Luka Doncic's of the world stepping up and taking that real estate and sort of ushering the NBA into, like, I guess, its next phase, the same way that you did in 2004, 2005, when you took it away from that previous generation?
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it as a fan of basketball, as a historian of the game, and someone who's played this game for many years and tried to hold this game up and make it better and bring something to it. I love it. I love, to watch these guys sitting there courtside. Yes, I'm watching Utah, but I'm also watching Luka. I'm getting a chance to watch Luka Magic up close, right? I'm getting a chance to watch this young player who can be, at the end of the day, in the conversation of one of the greats. And so it's amazing to see. Like, I love watching Ja Morant because I love the fact that Ja Morant is unapologetically Ja Morant. Like, he's from the trenches and he leads with it. But at the same time, like, he's real. You know what I'm saying? And he's fun to watch. And like, for me as a former player, like, I think the thing is with us is we like to look at the players now and we like to see who, if we could play in their era, right? Yeah. And so I like to look and say, oh, if I was reincarnated and born in this era, I would come back as certain guys. Ja Morant would be one of them. I think my game kind of is similar, right? And so I look and say, oh, okay, I can have success in this era. Cool. And so I enjoy watching him, man. He's exciting. So as a fan, the NBA just continues to get, better and better. Right now is in a more entertaining space, right? You got guys out there gritty and all over the place, but this is their league. And as old heads, it's all old heads do. We just talk about back in our day what we didn't do. And I understand that, but at the same time, just like it was our league at a time, it's their league now, and how they want to run it is how they're going to run it. And right now, they're running it with a style and with an entertainment that, we just haven't seen. And to me, it's exciting.
Well, quickly before we get to your Budweiser stuff, would you talk to Ja Morant about how to fall? Because it seems like he falls really hard. And I know that's something that you got to learn how to do, especially when you're flying through the air. I feel like you had to do that, after your first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I did, man. I had to learn how to follow, certain parts of my body. And it's hard. It's hard to, when you're in the air and someone, hits you in a certain way midair, it's hard to catch yourself. And so sometimes you lead with your arm, or you lead with, you lead with something that can really hurt you. So I tried to learn, but at the end of the day, I remember when I first came to the NBA, everyone told me, "Hey, young fella, you ain't gonna be able to hold up if you keep falling like this, if you keep playing reckless like this." And as I respected it, I also told them, this is just the way I am. And so if my career is 5 years or 10 years, I'm gonna give you everything I got. And at the end of it, everything I got is going to be good enough. And so, I love the way he's playing. Is his game going to keep evolving? 1000%. But right now, like, be Ja and go in there and fall around and do all that because you can. But eventually, it's going to come a time where that body ain't going to want to take those hits. And Ja seems like a smart enough player where he will understand that and try to add to his game. But right now, what he's doing, let it fly.
Yeah, no, you want players to be authentic. Nobody wants these guys to be, robots or be wise veterans in their third year. Like, we want the game to be fun. You know what I mean? So yes. I totally understand you on that. But Dwyane, you are entering the Budverse. You have a partnership with Budweiser Zero. You're going into NFTs. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So I had Vincent. I don't know if you remember at the end of my last season, Budweiser did a commercial that came out actually the day of my last game.
Yes, I remember.
It featured my mom, and it featured a lot of individuals along the way. And from there, our relationship just continued to keep building. What I respect and what I've always respected about brands that have been around for so many years, just the history and the tradition of Budweiser just made me want to continue to be associated with them, let me say. And I had an opportunity with them to, jump into a space that was important for me in a whole different way than probably anybody knew, because of my mom and my father's past when it comes to alcohol or addiction or abuse. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to create Bud Zero was something that, I think was fitting for Budweiser at the time, as it started becoming something non-alcoholic brew. It started becoming a conversation, started becoming something that we started taking on here in America. And to be able to do it together, for me, it was very important. Like, my mom haven't had a drink in so long, and I was able to present her like a can of one of my first beers with Bud, and it was just super dope. So, just right now, we just continue to further our relationship. Now, the one thing that you want to do in this world is you always want to be a part of something that has historic, rich history, but you mm-hmm. also want to stay with the trends as well, so you continue to grow. If you want sustainability. And so, that's what we're doing. We're staying with the trends of what's going on right now. NFTs is the hot conversation. Vincent, I have a 20-year-old, Zaire that's all he want to talk about more than basketball is NFTs. Yep. And so for us, it was just another opportunity as well to be able to give our fans something, just something else and something more from our brand. And so I just think it's super cool that, in our second year as a brand with Bud Zero, we started in 2020. And in our second year, we're jumping into a space that maybe in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, if this brand continued to keep building, that people can say, I was there for that. And so I'm just super excited to be able to enter the Budverse with what Budweiser has already created.
Hey, look, you've always been a trendsetter, brother. So this is no different, doing this, your career with Li Ning, doing it with the Miami Heat, whatever it was, you've always jumped into it feet first and made it a labor of love. So appreciate you, man. And, check out everything that you've got going with the Budverse and Bud Zero. Doing a great job, man. Dwyane Wade, thanks again for joining us today.
Man, Vincent, always, brother.
I can't believe you calling me Vincent, man. That's you out.
I gotta call you Vincent because you got a lot of people that follow you. I want to pay you their respect so they can make sure they respect you, Vincent. But when I call you off air, it'd be different.
Yeah. It'll be some 10-letter words or something like that.
All right, brother. Till next time, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.